and it's just these people. You should not change your name. God bless you. I've seen you on Facebook there. You write beautiful comments, and I appreciate that. Look,
yes,
it's what it is. It's not you. It's them. It's not you. You're in the East Coast. Where are you from? Where are you?
No, I'm West Coast. I'm Huntington Beach.
Oh, my God, you're in the same state. Okay, and you're not related. Are you sure you're not related?
I'm positive I'm not related.
Get the polygraph out, Richard.
Okay, enough about them. There are a lot of topics tonight, and I just do want to stray a little bit off topic, and I want to just say how sad I am about the passing of Justice Scalia. Whether a person would like him or not like him for his decisions and his dissents, I think that, in my opinion, he's an American icon. And I just cannot believe the news stations, and I have checked all of them. They'll say, oh, he passed away, blah, 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 and then all they do is go into who's going to take his place, and then all these people start arguing, and they think they have the best point of view. And I don't know, it's just me and my little pea brain and my big heart that I think it's just so disrespectful. I mean, my goodness, he hasn't even been dead for 5 minutes, and they're talking about his replacement.
Well,
and
I'll tell you,
I'm a little surprised also about the state of Texas, and I know that this ranch was kind of like far away, and it wasn't in Dallas or Houston or anything like that. But I was a little surprised that he would be pronounced by a county official on the telephone, that no one went over there as a county official would to check things out. And I'm not saying that there was anything bad that happened, anything criminal. I'm not going in that direction at all. I'm just shocked. I'm just surprised. And
well, apparently that's the procedure and protocol in Texas. So that was followed there. Nothing out of the ordinary. I think it's ridiculous. I think they should have done an autopsy. I think when the guy says he was found with a pillow over his head, to me, I'm not a brilliant criminologist, but I got to tell you, to me, a pillow over your head and you're dead. I mean, come on, we got to look into this a little bit. But
first I read that he was fully clothed with the pillow over his head.
Yeah,
then it was reported that he was in his PJs with a pillow above his head.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Those are two strikingly different scenarios.
What does that mean, a pillow above your head? What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
Well, apparently they made him explain himself, this man that gave the statement, that he said that he corrected himself because the pillow was against the headboard and the top of his head was up against it.
I don't know what that means, but listen.
Well, I don't either, but it just sounds crazy. But I don't know. I'm just fed up with the news stations, and I don't know. Anyway, all right, so enough about that.
Let me just say something about him. He was a brilliant jurist. He held to his conviction of a strict constitutionalist. He read the Constitution, and he wanted it interpreted word for word. He didn't want it changing or fluctuating as time went on. He held firm to his position, a Reagan appointee. He held firm to that for years. He's responsible for some brilliant decisions and some devastating decisions, and that's why he's a very polarizing figure, and people loved him or hated him. And there was no real middle ground with him, I don't think. And I think, it definitely a profound impact on the court, and the replacement, whoever is his replacement, will have a huge impact on the court.
I agree, and I didn't bring him up really and truly because I loved him or hated him. I'm just shocked about the news, and if anyone could ever use the expression untimely death, this is historically untimely. I mean,
every
seriously.
Every case that he heard now is in abeyance. We do not have his vote on any of these cases, and this is a true catch-22 for the Republicans here, who say they don't even want to consider a nominee in the next 300-plus days. Okay, don't do it. The next Senate will be Democratic. Good luck trying to get a conservative jurist in then. I don't know. It's a real problem here, and And I don't agree with that. I think the president has an obligation to appoint someone. The Senate has an obligation to take hearings. If they can approve them, approve them. If they can't approve them, then they don't. But at least let the process take shape here. You can't say point blank, we won't consider any appointee, even though the guy's got almost a year left in his term. That, to me, is one of the main reasons people are fed up with Congress, with the Senate, with everyone in Washington, because they shut the government down and they talk like this, and that doesn't inure to our benefit. It really doesn't. So it's very
you're
upsetting
right.
to hear
you're
that.
Completely right.
If these people don't want to do their job for a year, then quit. Get out. Put someone in who wants to do the job. That's what I say.
Right. Okay, one more question, because I'm sure you have lots of callers. The 18-year-old that posed as a doctor twice, I believe. Twice. Now, okay, so we think he's mentally ill. But could he just be a brilliant con artist? And are con artists all mentally ill?
Well, look, I don't know that he's I've listened to some of the things he said, and he sounds deranged to me. They'll have to have mental evaluations on him. Some doctor will say he is. Some doctor will say he isn't. But, any con artist has a mental problem to begin with. So, look, this kid's got a problem. He's got a big, big problem, and he's facing, prison time and a felony conviction for the rest of his life. So it's you don't want to be in his shoes right now.
No. All right, well, thanks a whole lot. Peyton Manning, it's just a hot mess, that's all. It's just going to be a big old hot mess.
Well, we love your name. We love your name, and we wish you continued success with that name, really.
Thank you, and
Absolutely.
Good night, Richard and Jordan.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you for calling in, and Richard, you hit it right on the head in terms of everything you were saying there. But let's go out to Memphis, and let's say hello to Wanda. Miss Wanda joins us here on a Thursday night with King Jordan Radio and Richard Herman. Good evening, Wanda. How are you?
I am doing great. Hey, King. Hey,
Hello.
Mr. Attorney Richard Herman.
Wanda, you got some ribs for us? You got some ribs for us tonight while we're on here? Because I want some Memphis barbecue. You got something for us?
I sure do. Y'all need to come down here. You know we're the barbecue king capital of the world.
What do you think? I don't know that? Come on.
You haven't tasted barbecue until you've come to Memphis. You got to come. And
Springtime in Memphis. Springtime in Memphis. Come on, I know.
I know, so come down. So, anyway, Memphis and Bay, seriously, our barbecue contest down on the river, people come from all over the world, and it is an amazing thing. It's a classic. We've had it for years and years and years, and it's fun. A lot of judges and everything. It's fun. Okay, but getting to tonight's things, Richard, I'm so glad to be talking to you.
Thank you.
Let's see. Let's start with, I'm going to kind of let Peyton Manning go a little bit because I didn't know much about the lawsuit here. And even though I'm in Tennessee,
you're going to let Peyton go because you're from Tennessee. That's why you're going to let Peyton go. So that's
no,
okay.
It's not that. It's just that I've never heard about it before. But it does seem like a long time for a statute of limitations. But okay, let's move on. Okay, next thing on the Kardashians, I'm watching this miniseries, and it all makes sense to me now that I think the seed was planted in those small girls when they were little for the fame, because Nicole Brown Simpson was Kris Jenner, well, back then Kardashian's best friend, and OJ, if you don't know it or not, that's the godfather of Khloe, Kim, and Courtney.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you making me nauseous now? I got so hungry for ribs, making me nauseous. Who cares? Who cares?
I don't
really,
care.
who cares?
I'm just being honest. But anyway, so got that out of the way because honestly, they don't mean much to me either at all. The language they use on TV, and I've never seen so much people drink so much wine in my life. So, but anyway, and on Jodi, did you hear about that video that she's trying to make from prison from the rapper? You've got to have heard about that.
Oh, I've heard something
Richard.
about that. Yeah. I've heard a little bit about that.
Well, what you're talking about is the rapper who made the video, using Jodi as the role model, and he called her from prison, and he mentioned that he was going to be on the show, so we'll leave him alone. But he did make a video about PSD, so that's the story with that.
All right.
So I guess on my question on that is, I thought when she went to prison, all this stuff was supposed to stop, but I guess not because she's Jodi.
Well, she's high profile. She's definitely high profile.
It's amazing, Richard, how she controls the headlines, even from jail. 3 years after the case was over, people will love to still talk about Jodi Arias. Why is that, Richard?
Because she's an enigma. She is larger than life. Nobody could believe. On the one hand, she could, with the blonde hair and the modeling, and then on the other hand, turn into the animal she was. Just it's a crazy set of facts and circumstances that kind of hard to digest, and people were riveted to her story and to the case.
It's a very good point.
Yeah, it appears so. So I know you've got other callers on the line, but I need to send y'all some barbecue.
Absolutely.
I really, really do.
And some biscuits too.
Absolutely.
And King, it's good to be back. I had a few weeks there. I had to be off, but it's so good to be back. And Richard, it's my pleasure talking to you.
My honor. Thank you.
Thank you. And
Wanda, it's
I
so
hope
good to hear from you.
Soon.
Hopefully you'll be calling in next week and weeks to come.
I will.
Thank you so much.
I will. Thank you. Y'all have a great night.
You too.
Okay.
Absolutely, and thank you so much to our callers there, and Richard. Just wanted to ask you about, before we go, the political stuff that's going on, and we are in, where are we? We're in February, and, next year at this time, who do you think our president will be?
Oh, boy, that's a big one. That's loaded. Who's our president? I'm going to give you the primary winners. The president. I think I think it's going to come down to Trump and Hillary, and I don't know. I mean, if they arrest her, I don't know what's going to happen there. If Bloomberg gets in the race, I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't know. It looks like it's shaping up to be Trump and Hillary, and maybe she beats them in the general election, but this is wild and woolly.
That would make sense.
And sadly, it's embarrassing. It's just embarrassing to watch this on both sides. It's just embarrassing. And you would think in this great country that people could rise to the top, brilliant people, or credible people who are who know what they're talking about, could lead this country. And when I watch these debates and I watch the way they treat each other, and I watch I listen to the substance of what they're saying. And and including Bernie Sanders, who I tip my hat to the guy. He's just coming back so strong. But is there any validity in what he's saying? Can he even do anything that he's saying he wants to do? And Hillary, you can't. It doesn't look like she's trustable. I mean, everybody doesn't want to trust her yet. I thought she was a shoo-in after a while. And on the Republican side, I mean, Trump is just brutal with everyone. Is this how you want your president to act? I mean, I don't know. And Cruz, I can't listen to Cruz. Cruz is, to me, is coming from fairy tale land, and Jeb Bush.
Trump gave it to him yesterday.
This looked like this was Jeb Bush's. This looked like it was going to be Jeb Bush all the way, and he's just bombed out totally, and he's got nothing He's got nothing, and Rubio puts his foot in his mouth, and Christie's gone, and Kasich. I happen to like Kasich a little bit, I think, but he's got no chance. So it's really
right.
It's so sad. It's just sad. It's sad and embarrassing. And that's just me talking, and for whatever it's worth, I hope I don't offend anybody. But it's just, I look at it,